Previously on my best friend's journal.
I have never so enjoyed a surprise gift. It was a bidet. We recently talked about whether or not people should talk at a urinal. I'm on team no fucking way.
I said no to strangers talking to me at a urinal. The one caveat I will say to that is at a gay bar or like a club.
So the four of us are going on this little train journey.
30 hours.
To San Francisco.
Just Christine Baranski comes in. It's just her and I in a room. It's the same night I met Larry Kramer.
Gay Pride Parade.
Oh, yeah.
Saw Alaska.
Hi.
Rode a mechanical bull. Spontaneously pierced my tragus. Love it. $87.
What a night.
5 years ago, he got a book to hold my private thoughts. And now we're gonna take a peek, grab a drink, or smoke some pot. Your private thoughts read aloud. How does that make you feel? I don't remember what I wrote. This shit might get too real. Nothing here is sacred. I'm haunted by my past. It's called My Best Friend's Journal. Let's start this damn podcast.
Let's sing this theme a little longer first.
It's someone's favorite podcast.
Yes, and
The world's greatest podcast. Bigger Cam, Oprah's favorite podcast.
good afternoon, Cam.
Hi, Mikey. How are ya?
I'm great. Welcome back to My Best Friend's Journal.
This episode brought to you by Lux Bidet.
And we mean it this time. We really have a
Oh my
sponsor
God, you
for
guys,
this.
really though, kinda.
For this one episode, we have been sponsored. So Lux Bidet really appreciated MBFJ's shout out when my friend Gabriella and her husband Andy, and I guess their baby Oliver, bought me a that Lux Bidet like a couple months ago that I was freaking out about. Love it. Honestly, we were traveling recently, which we'll get to, but not having a bidet in my bathroom really is a challenge now. I'm very used to it, and I wish they had portable ones.
It's called a Perry bottle, I think.
It's useful if you just gave birth, right?
Yeah, we've covered this.
Yes.
Have you ever gotten past level 2 on your Lux Bidet? I'm just dying to know.
By accident once, I got to 2. I didn't mean to, and it really... I don't know who can handle that kind of pressure, let alone a 5, but it's certainly not me.
Does it go like inside because you use it as a douche?
I don't use it as a douche. I use it to clean my body.
Could you? What I'm asking is if you cranked it up to like 4 or 5 and spread your cheeks wide, could you get some water up there?
No, what you could get is a hospital visit. There's no way it can be used as a douche, but it is a very effective butt cleaner. I love it. I love it so much. It was super easy to install, and if I'm saying that, you know it must be true, and I'm obsessed. Anyway, we shouted them out, and they were very happy about that, and they sent us a bidet to send to a listener. So we're going to have a little listener giveaway.
We are, and the rules are simple. All you have to do is leave a review on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you get your podcasts, screenshot it, and email it to us at mybestfriendsjournal@gmail.com. Now listen, we know many of you have already left a review, and we do not want to count out our most loyal listeners. So if you've already left a review, it's easy. Get a friend to do one. Get your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your grandma. Oh, we'd love a grandma review.
Oh, yeah.
Someone else, a different iTunes account. Screenshot that. Let us know that you're the one that got them to leave the review.
And please get the submissions in by July 1st, and then on July 8th, we will announce who won the drawing for the Lux Bidet. Again, send those to mybestfriendsjournal@gmail.com.
And one last note, we are sorry to say that these submissions are limited to listeners in the United States and Canada because, international shipping and also international plumbing. I'm not sure how that's all going to work. So to everyone else, it doesn't mean we love you any less. It just means that we don't know that this bidet is going to work for you. So sorry. We'll keep you in mind for future giveaways, we promise.
And it does mean your butthole might be less clean, but we encourage you to get your own bidet from your local bidetery.
Your local bidetery.
But for those in the U.S. and Canada, I'm telling you, Lux Bidet is it. Anywho, speaking of toilets, can I give you my gayest moment of the week?
Oh, sure.
Gay. So, as everyone knows, we just returned from a trip, and on that trip, we spent a good amount of time in the Castro, and we had a lovely time in a couple of the gay bars, truly only a couple, because so many things were closed, and we just kept revisiting these two. Anywho, at one of them...
That's San Francisco, for anyone who doesn't know where the Castro is.
We finished the night 2 nights in a row at Moby Dick's. Shout out to Moby Dick's and our bartender Mateo. And the first night there, I was pretty drunk, and the bathroom they have has one of those trough urinals, which I really hate. And it was a tiny little square. There's no like
2 places in the world where those still exist, and it's like sports stadiums that need to be updated and gay bars.
But why? I don't get it. Like, it's not. I don't know. There's really no need for it to be public peeing, you know? Anyway, it is
it's
what
just
it
much
is.
cheaper to do one like metal trough as opposed to a bunch of porcelain urinals.
Oh, money. You're right. So I'm peeing in the trough. I walk in there, and there's like a 75-year-old man peeing. I go to pee, and you know my bathroom etiquette. You don't speak, you don't look, you just go pee and get out of there. So I begin.
You always look at a trough. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Not look at the dicks that are hanging out?
Yes, exactly. That's what you're supposed to do. Also, not
Fair.
for nothing, he was 75. He could have been Joe Biden.
Joe Biden.
Could have been Joe Biden. I'm peeing, and this little dirty old man looks over to me and says, "You got a nice penis."
No.
Truly.
That is unacceptable, old sir.
Well, it gets worse. I think I just
You got a nice penis.
I was just like drunk enough that I just kind of felt bad for him. Like he's this old man just trying to go out and party with the younger people, but also like that comment was gross and your age does not excuse
No,
you.
we can't encourage that behavior.
Right.
Commenting on people's genitals, it's not okay.
So I wish I had thought this out more clearly because the response that came out of me was not helpful. It was just thanks. And I should have known it was going to encourage the man to keep talking because he did. I just stood there trying to finish peeing so I could get the fuck out of there. He kept talking at me. I didn't respond. And then someone walked into the bathroom and noticed this man staring at my penis and talking to me. And again, it was a tiny square bathroom with just a trough there. And so the guy who walked in was like, "Oh, sorry for, I didn't mean to interrupt." And I was like, "No, nothing is happening. This is not a thing." He like thought I was.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that you were working.
Yeah, literally. That's what it looked like. Anyway, I was mortified. And like, obviously, thanks wasn't a very clear message, but my body language was definitely clear. And regardless of any of it, that was just like unacceptable, gross behavior. Anyway, I blocked it out and rejoined you and the girls.
Is this the same night that you kissed the world's most obnoxious bar goer, Kegan?
Oh, hey, Kegan, shout out. Yes, same night, just a mere 10 minutes before.
First of all, not Keegan, but Kegan. Second of all, maybe it's just been too long since I've been in a bar, and specifically a gay bar around young, sloppy people, but god damn, that guy was sloppy.
He was 25. He was engaged to like a 20-year-old. He was a mess. Why do we know all this? We talked for too long.
Because he made the rounds talking to every one of us in depth. You, by the way, he was very cute, but very obnoxious.
Remember last week when we were talking about the worst people we'd have sex with?
Yeah.
Well, my new answer is Kegan.
Well, before we left, we were standing by the door finishing our last drink, and I look over and I see Kegan talking to yet another stranger, telling him his life story, being very intimate, very in-depth with every person in the bar. And I looked at Mike and I said...
too.
Classy, Kegan. Keep it classy. And so I said, "Hey, Mike, how much would it cost for you to go kiss Kegan?"
No,
and
you just offered me $10. You said straight up, "I'll give you $10 if you go over there and kiss Kegan."
Okay. All right. Fine. So I offered you $10 to go kiss Kegan. And did he stomp the runway over to Kegan and plant a big one right on his mouth? Yes, he did.
Well, you're missing the fine points here. So I was like, okay. I walked over. I didn't
Very confidently.
Well, it was him and not a stranger, but what he said was his best friend. And I'm like, you sure are making out a lot for your best friend. Cameron, I don't do that. And he would just stop to listen to me. I was like, hey, guys. I had my arm around like both of them. I was like, so my friend just said he'd pay me $10 to kiss you. Before I could even finish a sentence, Kegan grabs my face, and then his friend starts to join, and I was like, okay. And I like
a beautiful sloppy three-way kiss in the middle of a bar at
disgusting.
last call.
I did it. I like pulled away, and they like kept going. I was like, no, we did it. Thank you so much. I walked back.
This fulfills the terms of the bet.
Well, I walked back to Cam, and I said, you owe me $10. And I mean, he saw it with his naked eyes. And our friend Sam was like, he owes you $20. We've been saying 10 this whole time. Apparently, the original deal was 20, and Sam is the only one who clocked it. If not, she just upgraded me twofold. So thanks, Sam.
She probably saw the fact that you kissed two dudes, and she was like, two not for the price of one. That's going to be an upcharge.
And Cam just pulled out a fresh 20 from his wallet and handed it over. Really was a sex worker that night.
You kind of were. Then, yeah, 2 days later, we were leaving the hotel, and I didn't have any cash for a tip for the housekeeping. So that 20, which would have been spent that way anyway, came out of Mike's wallet instead of mine. So everyone won.
Everyone won. Me, Kagan, his best friend, our girls. Oh, the girls, by the way, were a hit at this gay bar.
I mean, truly, just like were in their element. They were being social butterflies. Everyone, wanted to talk to the girls. Erin was like off making friends in the back room. I'm like, where the fuck did Erin go? Didn't know she was such a gay barfly.
The gays loved them. They were like, you are stunning.
Yeah.
We love you. You're queens. It was great.
Man. So my gayest moment was also tied to this, a couple nights of going out in the Castro because, I mean, just alone being back in gay bars for the first time in a year and a half, that is gay enough. I mean, it was
truly
great. The vibes were so fun. Yeah, we showed up at these bars, and it was right before California fully reopened, so they were still at kind of lower capacity, and there was only a couple bars that were really like hosting many people. But that meant that like everyone that was out on a weeknight were in like a pretty concentrated area like between these two bars, which was really fun. We kind of were where the people were,
just like Ariel.
My gayest moment was just flirting with a very cute bartender at a gay bar.
Very cute.
Flirted with everyone. I mean, he was giving the girls hugs. He was flirting with you. He was flirting with me. But I just jumped in with both feet. I was like, I'm in a gay bar. There's a cute bartender. He's getting paid to flirt with me, and I could not be happier.
He was so hot, y'all. This guy was jacked, cute as could be.
Wearing the tightest, lowest cut tank tops.
His name was Gregorio. He was gorge. He pulled what I want to call a Chandler because he was obviously very, very into Cam. So this is the second night we're there, and he already knows us. We met him the night before, and he's so into Cam. He goes right over to him. He's like, "It's so nice to see you." He puts his arms around him, gives him a little hug. And seeing that the four of us are there, and it was very obvious what he just did, he then comes to me and is like, "And you too." And then our friend Sam and Aaron. So Chandler in an episode of Friends is making out with Monica, gets caught, and goes and makes out with Rachel and Phoebe to prove that it's not anything special for Monica. He makes out with everyone. So that's what
yes, thank you for
did.
explaining a 20-year-old plot point. I really appreciate that.
Well, I feel like because it is 20 years old, people need a refresher,
I guess so. Yeah, he did kind of pull a Chandler. I was flattered. I am a sucker, for a flirty bartender. I mean, who isn't, right? So it was really fun. It felt so gay. We had cocktails there, and then we went to our other favorite bar. So yeah, just couple nights out in the Castro with my best Judies. I had the time of my life. It felt so normal and a beautiful kickoff to Pride Month, honestly.
Totally. It did my heart good. It was exactly the night we wanted. We knew we were going to San Fran. We didn't have many plans, but we were just like, we'll definitely make it to the Castro. Otherwise, we'll figure it out. And boy, did we make it to the Castro. It filled my little gay heart.
Boy, did we. And your little gay hole. Listen, I want to say that trip was. Oh, right. Sorry, not little.
Fuck you.
That trip was
well done.
So fun. Amtrak is a hot fucking mess. Our train was delayed, 6 hours by the time we got to our final destination?
It was 2 hours before we even left the station, and then we stopped for another 2 hours in the middle of the track somewhere right outside Denver.
Not even outside Denver. We were still in Denver proper. We were just on the outskirts of town and the train yard, and we had to wait for another engine because they're like, our computers aren't great right now, and we're scared to take this train into the mountains. We're like, excuse me, please. You would need a new engine? What? So we got an engine from a different railway, tacked to the front of our train, and off we went. But yeah, we were supposed to get into SF at 4:30 in the afternoon. We didn't get it until after 11. It was just a lot to deal with, but looking back on it,
freaking joy. I really had a good time.
Yeah, I did too. Looking back on it, it was a really fun experience. I wouldn't willingly opt in again because it's not glamorous. It's not old fashioned enough to be kitschy. It's just old enough to be shitty. These train cars were probably built in the late 80s, early 90s and never touched other than
There's a reason Joe Biden wants to invest in rail and infrastructure because it's a fucking mess.
Yeah, it's obviously a failing enterprise right now. Train people are weird, but what I will tell you is that kind of train rules, like anything goes. We stopped for a smoke break. That's what they called it, not me. In Glenwood Springs, Colorado, which, by the way, I could drive to in 2.5 hours from my house, and it took us 8 hours to get there. But we stopped for a smoke break at Glenwood Springs for 15 minutes. I sprinted off the train and ran across town to get wine from a liquor store.
It was amazing. We thought we had not quite enough time. Our friend Aaron was like, "Don't do it. You're going to miss the train." And I was like, "Do it." And Cam sprinted like I have never seen in my life. He made it back in plenty of time, and people were clapping, mostly me, but we were hooting and hollering.
Well, people were clapping because they're like, wow, that guy is smart. He got wine as opposed to the shitty, expensive liquor on the train. So we stayed up late that night, our one night on the train. We stayed up late in the observation car. We had like the whole thing to ourselves. We played games and drank red wine and just had a great ass time. And I will have those memories for a long time. It was a special experience.
It truly was. And the observation car was super fun. It's a big glass car where you can watch the rivers pass by. It was gorgeous. And we played cards for like 30 hours.
By glass car, he does mean that there's more windows than average. The car itself,
No.
It's not like a glass bottom boat.
Every inch of that was glass. It was very dangerous. It was honestly my fucking dream. You know I love cards, and we played it for no hyperbole. I would say we played at least 15 hours of cards.
Oh, easily. Yeah. I mean, we played multiple euchre tournaments. We played multiple games of Shanghai Rummy, which takes, a day or so. I don't know. It was a lot, but really, really good vibes overall. And then we had the best time at SF. It was a great trip. I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew that because we'd never all traveled together. We always meet at the same place, but the four of us traveled really well together, which doesn't always happen. And I was sad to see it come to an end, honestly.
We'll do it again. We can look forward to our next one. Not the Amtrak, but another trip.
I'm sorry, I just noticed something. Are you trying a center part these days? Are you a real Gen Zer at this moment?
No, it just kind of fell that way when it dried. It kind of bounces all over the place.
A flexi part.
A flexi part. When I finished my part of the trip in San Diego to meet up with Mick and Kick, and I borrowed one of Kick's shirts, which is like an oversized, crazy pattern 90s shirt. I had that on with my big combat boots and my center part. I could not have looked more Gen Z.
Oh, that's so fun. I love it. Was everyone like, oh my God, you're so young?
No, literally the Gen Zers were like, you're too old. Stop it.
I saw a random meme yesterday that hit me so hard. It said, okay, this is a Gen Z versus millennial test. Think of a song with the word dangerous in it. I'll give you a second.
I'm real gay because the first thing that comes to mind is Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yikes. Okay, well, this did not work for you, but that's because you're too gay to function.
Hey, that's only okay when I say it.
There's a Ariana Grande song with dangerous in it. And that was like, if you thought of this song, you're Gen Z. And if you thought of That Girl Is So Dangerous, you're a millennial. And as soon as she said, think of a song with the word dangerous in it, that song started playing on a loop in my head.
And if you're just completely out of touch, you go back to Andrew Lloyd Webber musical.
Yeah, that was a failed experiment. Never mind.
Speaking of failed experiments, you just had a tough time reading the world's longest book. Do you want to give a little content rec?
Oh, fuck me. It felt like the world's longest book. I just finished A Little Life, the novel by Hanya Yanagihara. And it was such a complicated relationship with this book. I mean, if you go back a few episodes, I was ranting and raving about how much I loved it, how beautiful the writing was. I started the audiobook and was enjoying it so much. I went and bought the paperback because I just wanted to read I wanted to chew on the words. It was so beautifully written. But then I had to take a break because it was getting really hard to read. And so then I ended up re-downloading the audiobook and I bounced back and forth between paper and audio. And it took me probably 2 months to get through this book. And if you've read it, you'll understand why. I think most people have a pretty complicated relationship. I posted something about it on Instagram recently, and at least 5 people responded and said, I can't say that I loved that book, but I also can't say that I hated it. And I also want to tell people that I recommend it, but I don't feel really good recommending it because it's like a bucket of trigger warnings. It's just, there's so much going on in there. I'm really glad I read it. It was really beautiful. It was heartbreaking. At one point, I don't even know what I was doing. I think I was sitting at this very desk doing work, listening, and I just put my head down. There was one passage that I just put my head down and wept. I've never in my life done that from a book. When I'm just kind of half listening, it was so touching and heartbreaking. And I didn't know I had all this pent up emotion about this book, but one character said one line and I just put my head on my arm on my desk and just cried for a minute because I had to. It was so much. So, yeah, it's one I'm glad I read, but, I mean, enter at your own risk, buyer beware, any of these things.
I am halfway through the book myself, really loving it. Rarely do I love fiction like this, and I will let you know when I finish. Yeah, I'm having a journey with it myself, but I haven't been so broken like you have. But I guess I've got plenty of time to
you
go.
got 16 more hours to listen, and I got to tell you, the back half is a doozy. How great is that
yikes.
narrator, though? I love his voice.
Shockingly good. Yeah, I think it's not an easy job to narrate a whole novel, and he's amazing.
Yeah, so I guess that's my half recommendation. Do you have any content that the people need to know about?
Nothing terribly new, but new seasons of both Love, Victor, season 2, and Generation, which I was screaming about maybe a month or two ago. Those are both out now in time for Pride because they're both super gay. It's honestly hysterical to compare. They're both like gay young adult TV shows. One of them on Hulu, one of them on HBO. Love, Victor is Hulu, Generation's on HBO. And the difference is stark. The HBO one feels like they're real, they're a little darker, they're like, the writing is so much better. It's so much more comfortable, even as they are so much more awkward. It just feels so genuine. Whereas Love, Victor, it's cute and charming, and I love all the options there are for young adult queer shows. The writing is oversimplified. It's very on the nose, but it's cute. It's very almost Fox Family, you know? Or ABC Family or whatever that brand is now.
No one can touch the I think it is Freeform, actually. No one can touch the quality standard of HBO. Like, they're so quality over quantity. They put out so few shows, but they can still charge $15 a month for their damn app because everything they put out is like full of great talent. It's so worth watching. I cannot believe Jean Smart has 2 incredible vehicles on HBO Max right now. Can you believe that Jean Smart, of all people, who is a fucking treasure, by the way, but like, she's having this crazy renaissance. It feels like out of nowhere. Like, I didn't see her in anything. I didn't notice her in anything for years and years and years. And then all of a sudden, she's in 2 of my favorite things of 2021.
First of all, I need to finish Hacks. It is so good. And second, what's the other show she's in?
Mayor of Easttown. She's Kate Winslet's mom.
Unpopular opinion. I watched 2 episodes and I was like, okay. I didn't finish.
That is unpopular because it's only 7 episodes long. We finished episode 6 last night. It's taking us a while, but every episode it gets better. The performances are to die for. It is so fucking good.
I believe it's good because it's Kate Winslet and HBO. I don't know why I'm not like grabbed yet. I will try again, although I've kind of missed the moment now, you know, so I'm less inspired.
Yeah, I don't think the moment matters. It's not like of a moment. You mean it's just because people aren't talking about it?
Yeah, it's fun to like watch it at the same time as everyone else so you can kind of be a part of the conversation.
I suppose that's not really how I think about those things, though, because like I haven't touched the latest season of Handmaid's Tale, and I probably won't for another few weeks, and I cannot wait, and no one will be talking about it then.
I signed off of Handmaid's Tale after I watched all season 1 and I loved it, and I watched part of season 2, and then I was like, you know what? I don't need to watch this terrible reality that we're also living. It was too much.
That is not fair to say, but it is fair that it like a little too bleak.
The timing was tough.
Yeah, it was really tough. I will completely agree with that. I'm still in 100% though.
Did not need it, but I appreciate what a good show it was. Anywho, speaking of excellent shows and wonderful content.
Every time. Mm-hmm.
Would you like to get into the journal?
Oh, sure. All right, Mike, welcome back to your journal. It's been a few weeks.
It has.
We are in middle of October 2016. Can you remind me and to the people where we were?
Yeah, it was kind of a dark time, I think. The last episode was called Rosemary's Crybaby. I am Rosemary's Crybaby. There was a lot of tears. I think I'm doing my usual thing, catering and auditioning and hanging out with Garth, but things are kind of like unsure. And last part of the episode, I think I was with that very rich businessman catering who was talking about the Clintons and the Trumps.
Oh, right. Okay, thank you for that. Very helpful. So the date is October 15th, 2016. You had a good UCB class. You're hoping to sign up for your 201 level class soon. Got drinks with some classmates, then Amy and Mike, then sushi with the girls for Molly's going away party. Out late, but such a good night. You love to pile on the friends. This friend group, then that one, then the next one. October 16th, 8:30 a.m. call time for Upper East Side brunch. Most ridiculous / massive house on 81st and Park. Hard work, but good tip.
The house was so insane. It had a bowling alley, a movie theater, an indoor pool. This is in New York City. It had an elevator through the whole building. The most glorious kitchen, 2 kitchens, because one was like the galley kitchen and one was the main kitchen. It was absurd. I have never seen a home like that in my life, and I probably never will again in real life.
Wow. That's like some billionaire shit, some real billionaire shit.
Yeah.
Okay, October 17th, feeling a bit stressed about Mick and Kick's wedding, but in general feeling happier.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm officiating. It's so much work.
It is a lot of work. You have to really make it special. You can't just like download a script, you know?
You can like half download a script and fill it in with some information.
It's like there's like a wedding Mad Lib. It's like, okay, insert anecdote here. Back to October 17th, you worked at Blossom but left early for AAA audition.
Oh, it's an agent audition I went to pretty regularly.
Oh, gotcha. Was fine. They didn't care, but I gotta try.
Never
Every
care.
time you go to an agent audition, you say they don't care.
They're required. The union makes them have these auditions open to the whole union, and so like nobody wants to be there. It's always like 3 people they drag to these auditions. No one's paying attention. They might as well be smoking fucking cigars.
No one's getting signed from those auditions.
Rarely.
October 18th, late bus to Philly. Hey, Philly. Sideshow audition in the morning. Went well, I think. Smoked and hung out in Philly with Janine and B2.
Ah, fun. Hey, guys.
Hey, that's full circle this life. October 19th, saw Lloyd and Hot for Teacher with Garth and classmate Rebecca. Huh?
Lloyd and Hot for Teacher are both names of improv shows, like staple improv shows at UCB. Very good. It's like
gotcha. Okay.
They're like the best people. They're actually, most improv shows are terrible, but these 2 shows and like the like are very, very good.
Okay. You said that Garth was weird and in a bad mood, and then in parentheses, smoked with Hannah in the afternoon, I think. Well, if you smoked less, you would know.
Truly.
October 20th.
Also, wait, can we give Garth can we give him a little bit of grace here? I dragged him to an improv show. No one's going to be thrilled. Like, thank you for
and
coming.
you were high.
I'm a nightmare.
You come to improv with me, I'm going to get fucked up by myself beforehand.
Honestly, you can't go to improv without getting a little high. Like, do yourself a favor.
Fair.
Fuck up your mind. Things get funnier.
On October 20th, you said, all I have written is Blossom, ? Been feeling way happier, though. Is that a comment on your journal that you've just been saying you're going to Blossom all the time?
I guess so.
Okay.
I don't really know. Unless I went back. Maybe I only wrote Blossom and then went back a few days later and filled it in. I don't know.
Understood. On the 21st of October, you met with your friend Nick. Fuck you, Nick. At
Nick.
Ripley for Golden Girls audition.
Guess what? You want to get jealous? I will be going to New York City Pride next weekend with Nick, and it's going to be a fucking blast.
Oh, fuck you, man.
I invited
You're not
you.
supposed to do fun gay things with other people.
I told you could come, and you made plans with your husband. You're going on a vacation.
It's his birthday trip away.
I know, that's fair, but I tried to get you involved. I can't help the timing of Pride, man.
You really can't.
But I'm excited. It's
still.
going to be fun. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Hates him. Never met him. You guys would be really good friends. No, you wouldn't. You hate each other.
Fighting over you all the time. Well, you met with him for a Golden Girls audition. He offered me Roz. Who's Roz?
A fake rose. It's a parody of Golden Girls.
So it's like Blanche and Roz and Dorothea and Sophie.
Yeah, basically that. It's all just like slightly off names.
Roz. We got drinks and I bought 2 plays at Drama Bookshop. Then I made $300 at Blossom because of a party.
Because of party.
Paid for those books.
If
For
it
that
paid for those
shopping
books,
spree.
no wonder that fucking store shut down.
Is it no longer there?
No, I
Drama
think it is
Bookshop?
back. It's been like, it is constantly in flux. I feel like there's been 10 different fundraisers in the last 10 years to keep it alive. I'm pretty sure it became
It's like the gay bookstore in Will and Grace.
Yes, it's like Lin-Manuel Miranda's pet project to like keep that store afloat.
Okay, well, October 22nd. Spent whole day with Hannah. She's sad, but doing better. Oh, re-breakup.
Oh.
Gave away swing shift to stay with her. Smoked and met up. Okay, cool. So she's not feeling great. So you know what's great? A depressant. Smoke, you'll feel
Weed
better.
is good for, that's misleading.
For being sad?
Well, it's a depressant, but like it can, it can numb you a little bit if you're a little too sad. It depends. It's about
That's
the amount
true.
you have, the kind you have, and who you're with.
Alcohol is also a depressant, and people drink to forget all the time. So, I mean,
Yeah,
fair
you don't
enough.
want to be dependent on it, but like it can be a useful tool as long as you are not using it as a crutch.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. I stand corrected. Let's see here. You smoked up and met with Greg at Jacob's Pillow. That sounds like a bunch of gibberish, honestly.
Greg is one of Hannah's friends who I was hooking up with a lot in college. Like every time I went to visit Hannah, her college is an hour away from mine. I would hook up with this guy, and he had a boyfriend the whole time.
Oh.
Yikes.
Keep it classy, San Diego.
Not great. Not the whole time. And it was like a high school boyfriend. They were destined to break up. And I helped manifest that destiny.
Manifest destiny.
Yeah, I'm an asshole. I mean, whatever. We've talked about
Your propensity for guys in relationships.
I guess we've talked about that too, but I was gonna say if the person who is doing the cheating knows, I don't know. What's your thought on that? If if the outsider knows as well, should the outsider be avoiding it, or should the outsider let it be on the person in the relationship to decide what is good for them?
I mean, I think it's good not to be a homewrecker if you can make that choice. I think that's like not such a hard, such a far leap when it comes to like, I don't know, that
They might have been
to
open.
each his own.
Maybe.
They may have been open. I bet as 20-year-olds in college they weren't. They were open because they weren't in the same town.
Not even 20, like 18 years old. And honestly, the stakes just felt lower. I promise I would make better decisions today. I actually don't think we ever had sex. We just kind of rolled around. So not that bad, right?
Oh, it's not cheating if it's only oral. That's how that works.
That's like you don't lose your virginity if it's anal only.
Exactly.
I'm still a virgin.
Not cheating if you only use your mouth.
And one quick amendment to that entry. It's not Jacob's Pillow. Jacob's Pillow is a dance festival that I certainly was not meeting up with my friend's friend at. I must have meant Jacob's Pickles, which is a good restaurant in Manhattan.
Jacob's Pickles and Jacob's Pillow are both actual things.
Jacob's Pillow is a dance festival. Jacob's Pickles is a famous restaurant.
Amazing. Okay, Jacob's Pickles. Last line here. Hannah did not like the new roommate.
Hannah is a very good judge of character, but if you get on her blacklist, it is very difficult to get off.
And this roommate was immediately blacklisted, it looks like.
For sure.
Okay, October 23rd, real quick, 4 years prior, 3 years prior, you were in Civitavecchia, which is my favorite word to ever read in this journal. I love it.
Nice.
Okay, so back to 2016, though. Double shift at Blossom. Oh, no. Your tragus is so infected. Massive keloid makes me anxious.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it was... We remember a few episodes ago when I was on the road trip in Austin, I got my tragus pierced, and
That's the little bit in the middle, right?
Yeah, it's...
this guy?
Yep, the little
okay.
dot that sticks out right in the center of your ear.
Your ear. Episode
and
title.
I had nothing your ear. I had nothing pierced before this, and that's like not a good place to experiment. It's a difficult spot to heal, and it just never did. It was so painful, constantly irritated, and it looks gross when there's like a little bubble on it. It was not cute.
Yeah.
Actually, I eventually take it out, and when I did, Hannah was like, "Oh, thank God." She didn't say anything because she didn't want to quote unquote yuck my yum. But when it was gone, she was like, "It wasn't you," and she was right. Looking back at photos, I'm like, "What the fuck? Who let me do that?"
Well, didn't you do it for a boy or no?
No, that's coming up.
Okay.
It was so bad. At this time, I was spending most nights sharing a bed with Garth. I was always on the same side of my bed and could only sleep on one side of my body because of the tragus, so I had to be big spoon for like a month, and it really pissed me off, Sometimes you want to be a little
Sometimes
spoon.
you just want to be cuddled. Yeah. Once upon a time, I pierced my cartilage on my left ear, just upper cartilage.
Like got it pierced, or you pierced it?
Yeah, no, I got it pierced. And it was in college when I was working at Best Buy, and I had to wear an earpiece because I was in customer service there, the customer service desk, and that's how we worked. We had an earpiece, and I had to have it. I think the ones we had only went on that ear. And so I had this fucking earpiece that I was putting on my ear every day, and it irritated it so bad. I got a huge keloid. Oof. It was like leaking green stuff. I was like, okay, this has got to go.
Yeah.
So it came out pretty quick.
Did you have any keloid problems when you pierced your nose? Because a keloid on the nose is tough.
It is tough. No, my nose healed so quickly and easily.
Oh, that's good.
All right, October 24th, 2016. Up early for AAA sign up again. Left Blossom ship early to audition, but shift early.
I love that I can just like head out of work whenever the fuck I please. This job is
sounds like it.
So chill.
You said there were some agents at this audition that you recognized. You said they never give a shit, and then awkwardly trapped in an elevator with the agents afterwards.
Oh yeah, just terrible. Like, I think I was the last audition of the day. We all like walk out together. They paid zero attention and couldn't have given less of a fuck. And it was just me and these three agents in a very long, slow elevator down. It's like, doo 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 doo. I was like, wait, I got a little more to show you. And I strapped my tap shoes on.
The idea that you just hit the emergency stop and perform at them.
You will pay attention. Like holding them hostage.
Oh my God, that's amazing. All right. October 25th, 2016 is a day that will live in infamy.
Oh no.
It is a day that was referenced in episode 1. It is the day you saw Christine Baranski and Larry Kramer at the Dorothy Hamilton Memorial.
Oh my God. So it wasn't a funeral per se, but a memorial service.
A memorial. That's what a funeral is, pretty much.
True, but I feel like when you hear funeral, I'm picturing like the desserts laid out in front of her casket. And Christine
That's also not how funerals work. No one ever does finger foods at a viewing.
Yeah, what a moment. I mean, we've discussed it at length. I was aghast. Is that all it says? Doesn't explain her stealing desserts?
It doesn't explain her stealing desserts, but you said cold, boring event otherwise. Or does it say long? I think it says cold.
I think maybe I meant cold, like sterile for a memorial service, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you said a cold, boring event otherwise.
But Larry Kramer, man, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was the only time I've been starstruck.
And the Baransk.
And the Baransk. I mean, I spoke with the Baransk. I liked her, but I wasn't struck. Larry, made me speechless.
That actually says a lot about your priorities when it comes to, like, star power, because he's not, like, a television celebrity, you know, as it were. He's an activist.
Yeah, and I'm, like, a writer and just so influential to the way gay people experience life now.
After the memorial, you rushed to UCB Chelsea to see Harold Knight with Meredith and some classmates.
Why are we using last names all of a sudden?
I don't know. I'm just...
There's nothing untoward. It's my good friend Meredith, but I just don't have her permission to use her last name, so I won't.
Okay, October 26th. Worked at Old Slip for charity stairs. What?
I obviously was having a little meltdown or a stroke when I wrote that one.
No, you wrote, stupid. They had us decorate the staircase.
Oh, yeah. We were just like wrapping streamers around railings for flights and flights of stairs. It was pretty stupid.
Yikes. Were they doing like a charity walk up and down the stairs or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jesus. Yesterday you wrote rush to UCB West. Today you said rush to UCB East for Lloyd Knight and hot for teacher again with Sam and Aaron.
Oh my God, fun. I dragged a lot of people to improv, and that's not kind.
You dragged me to improv one time in New York.
I dragged you to good improv. That was the same weekend Sasha Velour won. That was our
I do remember.
Fire
It
Island
was
weekend.
right before we went to Fire Island.
It had Bobby, what's his name, from SNL.
Oh, you're right. Moynihan,
and also I think it had Bevers and some other big names.
Yep, I forgot about that. Because we got really fucking stoned before we went. Also, I've been really craving all these like gays are on Fire Island right now posting up a storm. I think next summer we have to plan a Fire Island trip. I need to get back there.
Done. I've been feeling the same. So much Fire Island FOMO. But it's not very accessible unless you have a group you always go with or a house you usually rent. It's hard to get there.
We should look early next year for a week, like an Airbnb week at a nice house, and try to figure that shit out.
Amazing.
Great. Done and done. Anyway, back to the journal. October 27th, worked an amazing view at World Trade Center. Went home pretty tired and just hoping so much no one was home, but the girl roommate was. Squiggly emoji face.
I was just filling in my journal, and I read a few years ago that I was like home alone and thrilled by it. When you have roommates, those rare, precious moments by yourself are gold. To just know you can do what you want. You can cook uninterrupted and put what you want on the TV and set the thermostat to your temperature. The little things.
It's the best. I totally agree. The few times in my life when I've had a not great roommate, it is like it's such a breath of fresh air when you walk in the door and it's quiet and you know they're not there. You're like, okay, I have at least a few moments of fucking peace before I have to tiptoe around this person.
Exactly.
So October 28th, first things first, there's a little note that says, got tragus removed.
Oh, yes. Can I tell you about this glorious story?
Please do.
And by glorious, I mean fucking disgusting. Okay, so I think I had like an improv class or something. I am on the subway. My ear is throbbing. The keloid has taken over. I can't see the earring anymore. It's covering the earring.
Oh, gross.
Stop at the first stop, which like it was tough. It was painful. So I stopped immediately at the first stop I could on the subway, which was Times Square. How unfortunate. I get out.
Oh, no.
I find the nearest piercing place.
Near Times Square?
Yeah, it was like
Oh no.
third floor above like some souvenir shop.
Dave and Buster's.
Not Dave and Buster's. There was one guy working there. He had a dirty cast on his arm, and when I say dirty, it looks like it had been on there, like, you know what I mean, like months too long, like covered in dirt, like filthy. An old cast that should have been removed.
I'm retching. What is grosser than a dirty cast?
He puts a glove on the hand without a cast on it, and then uses the hand with the cast without a glove
Gross, Michael. Why? You know better.
to pull my tragus out very aggressively. I went to a piercing place because I figured they had the tools and the know-how. This man didn't do it any better than I could have done it myself. He just yanked at it until it came out. It was one of those piercings that you can't do yourself. You know, it's got that clasp in the back and needs a tool. Yeah. He's just yanking till the cows come home. Is that an expression? And finally gets it out. I just start gushing blood. He tosses me a rip of a paper towel, but it was not like on the perforation. It was like one of those terrible rips like through. It always just makes it worse for me. I feel like that's an important detail to show you the level of care. The paper towel had like either oil or tar, some kind of like stains on the roll itself. And so he gives me this with his dirty cast hand. Again, I don't know why he put the glove on his other hand.
Guessing it's not oil or tar. Maybe tattoo ink or like something like that you find in a parlor such as that.
A tool or something. I don't know. It wasn't covered, but just like spots on it. And the piece I had didn't have any oil on it, but still I had seen it. Gives me that. That is all I have to clean myself off. I don't use it because I just thought it would infect my ear. I didn't know what was on it. So I get back on the subway like a full...
God, Mike, did you pay for that?
Yes, of course I paid for that. $400. No, it was like $15. I get back on the subway, and I don't think I've ever looked crazier on the subway. I am dripping blood from the side of my ear, which looks very scary. People don't know it's not coming from inside my ear. And I didn't want to touch it because I didn't want to infect it. I didn't have hand sanitizer, couldn't wash my hands. So I didn't touch it for the full 15-minute ride to my apartment. I'm just letting blood drip down the side of my face on the subway till I could sprint home.
Onto your shirt?
It started to dry at the bottom of my jawline.
Oh, gross.
I know, very, very gross. I just sprinted home, washed my hands, and immediately disinfected the fuck out of my head. I took a shower, but it was much more. This whole tragus saga, not worth it.
Not worth it is right. Also, thank God you're not deformed. Your tragus looks perfectly normal now.
Totally. That kind of shit, sometimes just the scar tissue doesn't heal nicely.
Yeah. I've still got, if you feel, you can feel very clearly where my cartilage was pierced. It's there's a little bump in there.
But at least it's in a place where you can't really see.
Yeah. Only when, my ear's in some stranger's mouth. All right. So October 28th continued. Practice with some UCB guys with Lauren coaching. She helped. Clear, simple, positive. Worked coat check at a very easy Skylark event. Enjoyed no one home. Yay, when you got home. Finally used my living room.
Love coat check and love being home alone.
On the 29th of October, we're almost to Halloween. You love fall. UCB class 7 and 8. So relieved I didn't have to go to staffing after.
Typical.
On the 30th of October, made myself pancakes. Then UCB 101 final performance. Was pretty nervous and not as free as usual, but it was fine. Aaron and Vanessa and Garth came. Garth didn't come to bar with us. ...
Yeah, the whole point was come hang out with me and my friends after. Although I guess I kind of get it. Improv can really turn a guy off,
It sure will. It's a real boner killer. No offense to all you improv heads out there. Okay, all this fucking lead up to one of your favorite holidays, and this is what we got on October 31st. Are you ready?
I don't know that it's... I love fall, but I rarely plan for a Halloween. I never plan a costume. I never
Sure.
I like to carve a pumpkin at some point in the season.
You like to watch the movies. You like to I don't know, you tend to, that's your most themed time of year. So I associate it with something you really enjoy because you're all about a cinnamon broom and a gourd and a hocus pocus moment.
Yeah, I like it, but it's spaced out. The day itself doesn't matter so much to me.
Okay, well.
It is my mom's favorite holiday though.
Is it?
She decorates more for Halloween than Christmas.
Oh, she's very spooky.
So spooky.
So you wrote, worked a double at Blossom. When I got home, I went straight to bed to get 4 hours of sleep before waking up at 4:15 a.m. for staffing at Blossom. Oh, staffing and Blossom tomorrow. Car alarm went off all night. Living in New York City is exhausting.
Truly is. I stand by that. It's great. It's amazing. It's also exhausting unless you have a lot of money.
Oh my God, have you watched In the Heights yet?
No, I'm really excited to do so. Everyone I know has already seen it. I'm really behind. I just came out.
Are you waiting for the theater, or are you going to watch it on HBO Max?
No, I want to see it in the theater, but now I don't have any friends left to see it with, but I'll go alone. It's fine. I don't mind.
Honestly, that's a fine one to see alone. It's really fun. I loved it. I thought it was so like joyful. Some of the big like production number scenes are really impressive, like gorgeously shot. I didn't know the music very well. I've listened to the soundtrack like maybe once all the way through. But I just thought it was great. And Anthony Ramos is very sexy in a way that I didn't think so before. I always thought he kind of looked like a little kitty, like younger brothery. But in this, I think he's a man, and
He does
he's
look hot.
very sexy.
Do you know he's friends with Janine? They went to school together.
I didn't know that. Can she introduce us?
I don't know. And if so, you're not allowed to suck anything of his.
I'll put my ear in his mouth.
Okay, that you can do.
I think he's very straight, unfortunately.
Yes. Did you think of In the Heights because of car alarm going off all night in the Heights where I lived?
Yeah, and like just difficult to live in New York City. Like it's one of those, like it's a real through line. Gotta tell you, Daphne Rubin Vega is so fucking fun and joyful, and I just feel like she's like having her moment in the sun. I always felt like she got slighted by getting recast by Rosario Dawson in the Rent movie, even though everyone else was just as fucking inappropriately old as she was for all those parts.
I did think the same, although I loved Rosario Dawson.
Oh yeah, she was a great Mimi, but I just always kind of felt bad for her because all of them kind of got like Anthony Rapp is in a feature film for the first time since like Dazed and Confused, and I feel like everyone in that movie kind of got a re-up on their like a real boost to their career, and poor Daphne was left on the sidelines. So it was nice to see her in a leading role. She's on screen a ton. She looks great. She's so fun.
She does look great.
Just the whole thing is. It's the perfect like reintroduction post-pandemic vibe. You know, it's like a city coming to life. It's really fun. Also, can I just tell you really quick? We walk into the AMC, the closest one to us, and the guy behind the counter is like, there's two people working the whole place. Like one guy running the projectors, one guy running the concessions. And so we go up to the counter, and Peter was like, gonna order a hot dog because he loves a movie theater hot dog. And the guy was like,
I could really go for a hot dog. How do you do it?
that's really good for a hot dog right now.
We're terrible gays. That's not the quote. The quote is,
It makes me want a hot dog real bad.
I can't do Jennifer Coolidge. Yours is so much better. So anyway, the guy was like, listen, we're not keeping anything ready right now because like barely anyone's coming to the movies and we just reopened. So I can microwave you a hot dog, or you can go to any of the restaurants around here and just bring in whatever you want. I don't give a shit. And we were like,
cool.
We're going to Qdoba. We walk in with this bag full of food. No one else in the theater. So we're like eating loud, stinky food in the middle of a movie theater with the whole place to ourselves. It was awesome.
No one else there.
It was so nice.
If I was with you, my choice, I mean, I love Qdoba, love any of those Mexican chains, Tex-Mex chains, whatever. But Chinese food in a movie theater, special. That's what I would have loved, an egg roll, some fried rice.
That's a Grace Adler move.
Oh, yeah.
She sits down and unwraps Chinese food, and the lady in front of her goes, you know, it's really rude to eat stinky food in a theater. And Grace goes, would an egg roll shut you up? And the lady goes, it would. So she hands her an egg roll. And they go on with their movie-going experience. Anyway, it was really fun and weird. Like there was no one there. It felt very apocalyptic, but also private. Fancy.
Love it. I can't wait. It'll be my first movie-going experience.
Mine too. All right. Well, that's enough journal for this week, and that's also enough chit-chatting out of you. So let's get the fuck
so why
out
don't
of
you
here.
go ahead and finish this up, and I'll stay quiet.
Shh.
All right. Before we go, we've got some listener mail I'd love to share.
Great.
First of all, I have to offer my sincerest apologies for anybody I've offended. Seems in last episode, at about minute 3:14, I left in the name of that theme park where we worked after we took so much care to cover it in the rest of the episode and bleep it out and schmushmardens it. I know it's very difficult to figure out what we mean, but I feel just terrible. So I've gone back since and bleeped it out, but I got at least 4 messages from people very concerned that I left in the real name of Schmushmarden. So thank you all for reaching out. It is since fixed, and for those lucky few who heard the original copy, congrats. You know now where we speak of. We also got more reactions than I could have ever dreamed about my tiny little shorts. They vary.
I thought that's what you were going to say when you were apologizing for offending people.
I make no apologies for that. Most of them, one says get it, one says love them. A couple of them say things like that's inappropriate, and if we ever meet, please wear some appropriate clothing. Anyway, I was tickled by the responses to that.
That's inappropriate.
And last, a message from a 16-year-old. This is from Ida.
What?
I know. Why
Is that legal?
It can't be. I mean, we have no control over who listens. We've labeled this explicit. Literally every episode is
That's
labeled
true.
explicit. So what else can we do? I don't even think about it. I've never once thought about whether or not it is explicit. It's just default.
It is. Every episode. Yeah. Strong language.
So Ida says, "Hi, Mike and Cam. I'm 16. I always listen to the podcast when I'm doing economics, and my parents always seem really amazed because I'm laughing half the time while I'm doing the homework. They always keep asking me to give whatever I'm listening to them so they can have a laugh too. They're really religious. Oh, no. And we are from a very conservative background, so I don't think they would take it very well because of the cool vernacular you guys like to use.
Cool vernacular. Is this one of my nieces?
Maybe." She says, "But you never know." Ida, I love that you're a listener. Thank you so much for reaching out. Please do not give this to your parents. I don't think they'll be cool with it.
How is Ida like EDA?
ITA.
ITA?
Yeah, maybe it's short for like Rita. Just one letter shorter.
I really like that as a drag queen name because you could do crazy last names like Ida Dick.
Oh, yeah. Crazy. Thank you for reaching out, Ida. Thanks for listening. Please do not tell your parents.
You're
going to
be a cool ass adult if you're listening to this early on. But yeah, don't let us get you in trouble, please. Alrighty, that just about does it for this week, Mikey. Before we go, just a gentle reminder to please remember to write that review, screenshot it, send it to us at mybestfriendsjournal@gmail.com in order to get yourself submitted to win the Lux Bidet.
Yes, and please get those in by July 1st, and we will draw a winner and announce it on July 8th.
Yes, we will.
And lastly, Cam, if folks want more of My Best Friend's Journal.
You've been listening. This is episode 104. You know where to find us. Mikey, until next time, always remember...
For $20, I'll kiss you in a bar.
My friend, the sex worker.
That's it. It's over. What more do you want from us?